Okay, y'all, so let's get into how I made this bomb fish and grits. I mean, oh my God, it was so delicious. Let's get right into it. So, first, I'm going to start with cutting half of a tomato and chopping it into just small pieces. In other words, I'm just going to be dicing this tomato, basically dice it up, and then I'm going to set that to the side, and then we're going to get started with the other ingredients. Okay, so here I have one scallion. I'm just going to chop that up. Well, you only need one because if this thing is fresh, it's going to be bursting with flavor. So you're only going to need just one piece of this. You're going to clean it and then you're going to just chop it up a little bit and then also set that aside with the tomato that you just chopped up. Okay, so here I already started the process by cutting this onion. This too, I'm going to slice in a few pieces, and then I'm going to also dice this. And this is just going to be half of the onion that I'm using. So for the ingredients we have for now, it's going to be half a tomato, half an onion, and one piece of scallion chopped up. Okay, guys, so here's some fresh parsley chopped up real finely. I'm going to chop that up and set that to the side. Okay, here I'm just showing my dry ingredients, which is a teaspoon of garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, and Cajun seasoning, and a bit of adobo. That's all the ingredients I have right there in a bowl that I just finely chopped up. Okay, so now that we have everything finely chopped and set to the side, we're going to start the process of making the sauce. So that's going to be 1 tablespoon of butter. I also added a tablespoon of butter to the grits, to get them real creamy or whatever, you know. So, yeah, so basically you add 1 tablespoon of butter, or margarine, your choice. It really doesn't matter. So always, I just like to break my butter down because, you have to have that butter melted and, at least sizzling at the very least so that when you put the ingredients in there, they start to cook immediately. So you're going to cook this on a low heat. So I have it about 4. I believe it's about 4. This is a low heat. I'm going to start that process of making the sauce. So now my butter is starting to sizzle, so I'm going to go ahead and add my ingredients. Okay. So here you're just going to mix the ingredients gently until they kind of start to break down and soften up. And the tomato is what's going to make that sauce, thick and creamy like you want. So here you're just going to mix the ingredients gently until they kind of start to break down and soften up. And the tomato is what's going to make that sauce, thick and creamy like you want. Oh my God, you guys can smell this. It smells so amazing. So now I'm going to get into adding the heavy cream. So here I'm just adding about, I would say 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Or maybe 2/4. Not sure. I just really estimate everything that I do. I cook all the time, so it's not a big deal to me to actually measure anything. Okay, so here I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to the mix just to thicken it up a little bit. Just a little grated Parmesan, and then going to add the dry ingredients. Once added, then we're going to start to mix that up and make sure it's mixed up really good. And then you see how it's really light, but as the time goes on, as it cooks for a few minutes, it's actually going to thicken up and it's going to get a little bit darker as well. And that paprika, that color of the paprika and the Cajun seasoning will actually start to pop and give it that like orange looking color like cheese. So now here I just have my oil preheated, and how I test my oil is actually just splashing a little bit of that flour from the fish inside the grease, and once that sizzles, then I know that the grease is hot and I go ahead and I add my fish. So as the fish is frying up, I just go ahead and go back over to the saucepan and I continuously just stir and mix the sauce so that it doesn't get clumpy and it remains creamy and smooth. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip that fish, and look at that. That is beautiful, guys. Oh my God, it's so crispy and crunchy. And for the fish, I actually did this off camera, but I'm going to tell you guys how I did it. I actually mixed my cornmeal, you know, the fish fry that you get. You could buy fish fry in the bag. I actually bought some Zanarans, and I actually mixed that with flour that I had already seasoned. So you can mix the two together. So it's like 50-50 of each, and you mix that together and it gives it like this really crunchy, like, oh God, it's just so good. It gives you a really crunchy Okay, so the fish is done and the grits is done. These grits are super creamy. I actually added a piece of cheese under the grits because I didn't add cheese inside the grits. I just used butter and a little bit of salt. The recipe will be down below in the description box. Okay, so I just finished cursing my man out or whatever. But anyways, we're going to start the plating. So look at that sauce. Oh my God, that looks so good. And when I tell you guys, this was so delicious. Like when I tell you the flavor was just busting. Like sis, it was out of this world. Like it was just crazy. But for the fish, I actually didn't put the 2 whole pieces because it's catfish. So it's kind of huge. So I just broke one piece in half and then just plated it like that. And look at that. That sauce was so creamy. Okay, so here I'm just going to add the finishing touches, which is that dry parsley that I chopped up is actually fresh, but I let it dry out a little bit. And look at that. That is the finished product there. There you have the Southern, like, Cajun style fish and grits. And this recipe is just something I made up. I didn't get it from anyone else. I kind of just thought about it and I had this taste and, you know, I wanted to bring it to life, and I did. And it actually came out great. I had a lot of comments and stuff from this. I posted it on my Facebook, my Instagram. A lot of people asked me for the recipe, and here you have it. It's my first YouTube video, and there you have it, fish and grits.